Welcome to Larry's Library. This week we are taking a look at the Bone Orchard Mythos 10,000 Black Feathers. This is from Image. It is 160 pages. The MSRP is, $19.99. But if you get it at somewhere like InStockTrades.com right now, it's still in stock at the time of shooting for $11.59. Pretty good deal. Of course, this is a standard sized hardcover. Wish it was bigger. The beautiful art deserves better, but what are you going to do? But it is a nice, robust little hardcover. You could say this is book 2 of the Bone Orchard Mythos series, but I think Lemire had that concept that you could read these in any order you wanted to and that they should stand alone. Now, while I agree that they could be read in any order, I'm not so sure that they are all that standalone, at least not completely. More on that later. Of course, this is written by Jeff Lemire, and the art is by Andrea Sorrentino, just like everything else in this series. This one collects the 2022 5-issue miniseries in its entirety. I loved a lot of things about this one, but the thing I loved the most about it is the relationship between Trish and Jackie. That was fantastic. They're the two main characters in the book. They meet for the first time at school, and I think they're supposed to probably be around 12 or so, perhaps. And they're both a couple of kind of nerdy girls, I guess. Trish is already trying to write her own stories. Both of the girls are into dark fantasy novels and role-playing games and that sort of thing. So they hit it right off right away. And Jackie lives with her mother, and she spends a lot of time in the basement. She has a bedroom upstairs, but she spends most of her time down in the basement where she has all of her role-playing stuff and her books and her music and that sort of thing. Jackie and Trish end up spending a lot of time down there together in that basement. It doesn't take long, and Trish wants to help Jackie flesh out her book, the plot for her book, and the characters, and the eventual role-playing game, which they figure will be based on the book. And all that was just a treat. It really was. It reminded me of my time playing role-playing games as a kid, and I tried to write my own books as well, and I tried to make my own characters and all that sort of thing. So really enjoyed that aspect of the story. And the characters are really well developed and just terrific. But, you expect that from Jeff Lemire, and he delivers in this one. As you might imagine, for a horror series like this, at times the line between fantasy and reality blur, and you're not quite sure what's happening. And part of that in the plot device for this is where they're working together on the plot to this book, and they're coming up with characters and that sort of thing and what's going to happen in the story. And the way they're working on it together, the way they act it out together, reminds me a lot of the Marvel method. That being the method that we've always read and heard was the method Jack Kirby and Stan Lee used together, as well as Stan Lee and Steve Ditko, where Stan Lee would be very animated and he would, act out scenes and different plot points and whatnot. And that's kind of what it reminded me of, so I got a kick out of that. So, and in the book, in the comic here, Sorrentino actually draws some of these scenes as the kids are imagining it. So you get to see them in armor, using spells and wielding swords and fighting creatures and that sort of thing. Really well done. I enjoyed the hell out of that. Now, I could go a lot further into the plot here, but I don't want to give it away because, with Lemire, although he's great at characters, a lot of the draw for his stories is the plot. And so I definitely don't want to give too much away here. But take a look at the art. It's more of what you would expect from Andrea Sorrentino. Highly detailed, reminds me of Jay Lee quite a bit as far as his faces and figure work. And then the backgrounds sometimes are very painted looking, which kind of reminds me of Arthur Suidam, and that sort of thing. And they're kind of blended together, and it's beautiful. It really is. And I hope that it's original. I hope we don't find out it was AI, because, man, that's a tough one, because I really love this art, and I hope I'm not crushed one day when it's revealed to have been Mostly, I sure hope not. So there's great character arcs here throughout. Another one that I noted here in my notes was I love the realistic character arc that Jackie's mom, Terry, had in this. You get to see her age. A lot of time passes in this story. Probably a good 10, 12 years you see across the story come out. And you get to see real character growth here. And it's great. It's nice to see that level of detail. It's terrific. All in all, this is a much more complete and satisfying ending and total story than was The Passageway, the first part of Bone Orchard Mythos. But it's still a little incomplete. That ending, while not as bad as Passageway, not nearly as bad as that, it still was not completely what I wanted. I still didn't get. I mean, I guess the ending is not there to satisfy everyone. You know, I mean, we don't get what we want in stories, I guess, all the time. But I really wish there was just a little more here. Just a little more. Maybe instead of being 5 issues, if this had been 8, I could have been a little happier. Maybe could have had a little more complete ending here. I don't know. I mean, I really love what we got here, and I enjoyed this throughout. Lots of creepy elements again. Lots of wild plot points are explored. And some of it does tie back into The Passageway, which is good because this is all supposed to be a shared horror universe. But I still don't think we got enough, you know, and it left me a little incomplete, which is kind of a theme, it seems like, of the last several books I've read. So overall, I'm going to have to give this one an 8 out of 10. Yeah, I had a good time with it despite the ending being a little bit of a letdown. And I hope you like taking a look at it and exploring some of the great art that's throughout this book. And if you did like it, give me a thumbs up, and I will catch you next time.